So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, so much for that. And Betsy, thank you so much for all your hard work. Thank you all for coming. It's a pleasure to be here and to put on display my collaborators' beautiful work. Dianne Kornberg, she's a Washington State artist. And I just thought I would mention that these images are all photographs that she has photoshopped to make them look like paintings or prints over the course of many years of our working together. The project was based on some ideas I had about the Virgin Mary as a kind of superhero, that after I had children, I was longing for a saint or a fetish or some sort of emblem for all the pain and blood and not little cute yellow ducks and pink and blue of childbirth. And I thought, well, I could have had one in the Madonna, with her suffering and her bearing of grief and loss. But I imagined her more as in various guises, as a kind of superhero, as a girl going to the prom, as a cigarette machine where you put your money in and you get your packets out, and as an old lady. So that was the selection of poems that I sent to Dianne after I saw her beautiful work in an exhibition in Chicago. So the result years later was the Madonna Comix. And I'll read a couple of poems from there. This one is called Education of the Virgin. And it's about the Virgin Mary as a kind of art historical figure in which she's learning to become the vessel for Jesus. But in my version, it's a little different from that. Education of the Virgin. Virgin Mary has never ventured to the caves of Texas where bats, little shudders, breed like bad memories. She has none, no packed bags at the Union Station where bats press themselves flat against the peeling ceiling. No shuddering regrets electrify her epidermis like the flit of a donkey's ear. This defines her innocence, the sadness she feels for souls consigned to places always cold, where those only lights are those flickers of conscience we bring with us. She did it only once, and that was a Eucharistic moment, the apotheosis of grace, as if her womb were lined with communion wafers. It's God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in there, swallowed perhaps and passed with a kiss through nether lips. Virgin Mary never goes where she is unwanted. She bows her head to the ecstatic eradicators, tribe haters, sex haters, haters of the poor. If her hovel is bulldozed, she has a cousin in Babylonia. Although moving for Virgin Mary predicates cosmological occurrences, avian messengers, and then there are the tickets and checkpoints. She turns her palms to heaven. A fine dust collects. Life was a book Virgin Mary conned until that death, so public, sap dripping along his legs, slow as the delineation of error from justice, getting down the body, unhooking his hands like drapes from a rod, only to stop a hole. So some of the images for that poem are over here. I wanted to read one or two from the book, just because it's such a funny experience. I used to read occasionally at the library for the little kids, and so it's very similar. I can even read up there now. So, see the picture? Madonna as Pelican. Oh, spare me a little, that I may recover my strength before I go hence, or be no more seen. Awkward as anything built for cumbersome endurance, bulbous with ugly love, with blood. You suckle the pouch beneath my maw. That's myth. That's Christ. That's why I'm quiet and sustained. My bowed bones are only yours, but feather-webbed and more lonesome. And I'll just point out that this is my handwriting. As close as I get to art. Dianne took my handwritten verses and added them. Okay, and one more. Madonna of the cigarettes. I'll show you the picture. Wrestle with the image. There you go. There you go. Very kind of, I thought of it kind of Weimar Republic. It's a lot of bitter things. Madonna of the cigarettes. Pocket change drops into my slot. A quick tug of these yellowing knobs, and I let slip soft packets, 1, 2, 3, along a galvanized trough. Ka-ching, sweet contraction and release, and a book of matches. And I thought I'd read just a few new poems, just because it's so nice to try them out loud. I always end up revising them. From some new work, which is about my cousins in Cherokee County, North Carolina, and car crashes, pretty much. Car crashes, deaths of many accidental kinds. So this one is called Car Crash. There was the first crash on Kill Devil when my cousin crimped like a dog's ear the phone pole. They cut him from Chevy's metal skull with oversized shears. Teen King Stanley, my man, cracked up. This was in Cullowhee, Valley of the Lilies in Cherokee, an infinity for braves, overwhelmed by the sickly scent of blood. They would suck Lily's sweetness into their ochre nostrils and hunt the buck again. Stanley's buck teeth gouged asphalt as he unstrung my pretty crew-cut red skin. Chevy's radio-tuned Grand Funk Railroad's I'm your captain. So cool this engine, Sunday school aid. Broken here and here. A resident Scotch taped Stanley's backbone to the buckboard, inflated his lungs with a bike pump, and we women, Bonnie, Sharon, my mother, myself, keened by hospital bedpost, hymn singing, until his eyes bent like lilies towards our faith, and we set him. Thigh set, ankle set, wrist set, Adam's original rib set, on Kill Devil again. Jaw strung shut and lips a pursed bottle cap about to pop. This was his Gethsemane, maybe. Maybe Stanley thought memories are a way to hold on to time, but who holds on to me? Who is brave enough to let me go? He drank those 13 beers through a Dixie straw. Impala crumpled like Kleenex in that second crash. Cullowhee. Crows skittered his teeth for brackish nests, and the new moon would not set. This one is about the pharmacy, the girl who took the scripts and went back to the pharmacist at the Bryson City drugstore. She ferries script from counter to pharmacist's hutch, diabetics, widows with nerves, vets with invisible quivering limbs. She grows rich in prescriptions, Oxy, Halcyon, Prozac, Lipitor, amoxicillin, Percocet, Dilaudid, fits, and violent fits. Melancholic stupors, anxious drumming on the counter. She presses the keys of the register, a numerological accounting. Pay for drugs, drugs pay. And sometimes she rose from the center of need to the golden frieze of fulfillment, avoiding the diamond-tipped noses of the rattled addict, the red-bone eyes of a cotton-mouthed addict, gasping trout leaping from the stream. She can hear the quick, quick slide into the slot of her brain, red lozenge of numb. And one last one, wasps. We cohabitate with yellow jackets, mine their dressage of amber thorax, black stockinged feelers, severe knobs of head and tail, one a heavy horn of venom, the other masked. A hive is a house, is a town, is a county, is a state thrumming within and stunted without. Press your head against the porous plaster of my house as I press my ear against your chest. There's the thrumming you expect, the buzz of the banal, but this formula has been altered. I could have been born a cardboard cone in a winding machine, a human bobbin shut as each skein wound and unwound, the human tender's arms going like pinwheels, empty and full, blurred wings. I could have been born a tongue sounding among dirt daubers and mill workers' cottages. Oh wait, I was.